There's a saying that goes along the lines of tasks will take as much time as you're willing to give them. I believe this is actually Parkinson's law, and it states work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. I'm sure we've all experienced that. And one way that I kind of work around that is with Pomodoro timers. If you guys have attended any of my co-working streams, you'll know that I'm a big fan of the Pomodoro method. I know that some people find that it can interrupt their workflow. So today I'm going to outline some of the ways that I use Pomodoro and how I use it to actually create more realistic and sustainable work pattern that still takes into account my energy levels for the day, and so that I can build a more sustainable and disciplined lifestyle without feeling like I'm gonna die inside and that my soul is leaving my body. The first way that I use Pomodoro is what actually got me into Pomodoro in the first place. And this used to be the only way that I would use it, but I have evolved, okay? She's been growing. This is typically when I'm feeling very distracted and very unmotivated. Now, I will use Pomodoro as a way to give myself a sense of accomplishment, okay? These are the days where you are like completely dragging your heels. You feel like you have no energy. You're like, do I even need to be employed? Can I just not? Can I just exist? Should I move back in with my parents? You know? On those kinds of days, we all have those days. For this one, I typically just make the focus time much shorter. So typically this will be a 25-minute work session and a 5-minute break. This is actually just such a great way to get the ball rolling. The hardest part is just starting. Having such a small commitment of time that you know that you're going to be focusing on something, it can make your task such a low-hanging fruit that you feel like you can actually achieve that thing. So that is my 25-5 split. That really does help me when I'm finding that maybe I'm already a bit burnt out or I'm just exhausted. And it gives me a sense of like, okay, I've done this many Pomodoros today. I can stop now. I don't need to like keep trying to push beyond that. You can use that as almost like a metric for your productivity. That can make it a lot more sustainable for you long term. Now, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum is I will also use Pomodoros as a way to contain myself when I am striving for an impossible level of productivity. I am a little bit notorious for doing like 12+ hour work days and absolutely just draining my battery by trying to get everything done in a day. And this kind of highlights one of my weak points at times, very similar to when you put too much food on your plate and it looks like you could eat the whole thing. I feel like I can sometimes do that with the amount of tasks that I can do in a day and or the size and complexity of the things that I'm willing to commit to for the day. It's something that should probably take a few days or a week. And I get so locked in that I need to finish this thing that I will just stay up until I finish the task. And then the fun part is that as soon as I've finished that task, then I move on to the next one and I do the exact same thing. So we use Pomodoros to set some more realistic expectations there. This one I'll do a 50-10 split generally. After a certain number of work sessions, I'm like, okay, girl, you've done enough for today. Put it down, do some real life things, go touch grass. I think this is a really important skill to develop to prevent burnout and to build more sustainable habits. And I don't think that you're going to be able to continue to be disciplined. That is another way that I leverage Pomodoros to just give myself a bit more of a sustainable output and be more disciplined across the board. And now finally, this is a bit of a newer way that I've started using Pomodoros, and it's been really helpful. I will use it for deep work. So if you're not familiar with the term deep work, I would recommend checking out the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. I think that is where the term originated, but that is kind of like the definition of deep work as I know it. Basically, it's the ability to like get into a flow state and be able to have your most productive output. There's only so many hours that you can do this in a day. It's not really something that you can do all day, every day, but it is something that you can get better at getting into that flow state faster and being able to set up your environment to get into that flow state very quickly, very efficiently, very consistently. And one of the main principles for that is making yourself less available to others. It's interesting because like we do need deep work as software developers, but then we also need to be accessible to our colleagues because usually we're working real jobs. So typically I will also do a 50-10 split for this, but I'll use my 50 minutes is uninterrupted deep work. Everything's on mute. And then my 10 minutes, I'll catch up on messages and I'll go back and forth with other people. I'll check my emails, whatever. That is one way that I'll kind of like create enough separation that I have enough time to get into a flow state, but still be accessible enough that I don't get in trouble at work. Your mileage may vary with this depending on how available you need to be at work. You might have to like shorten that span, and or you might even find that you need a longer period of time to be unavailable. I don't know about you, but there have been sometimes at work where I've gotten a little too locked in, and it's been like 4, 5, 6 hours of me not responding to anything because I just forget. So these Pomodoros are actually more so just to remind me to check my messages. But again, it can be the 50-10 split. It can be just a timer that you set after a couple hours. It very much depends on like how available you need to be for your work and what your current work tasks are and what your manager is willing to allow you to do. So please don't just like take that one break, that one example as like this Bash Bunny said I can do this, so deal with it. Please just communicate with other humans and figure out where the middle ground is and how you can get as much deep work as possible in your routine so that you can have really good productive outputs. There are also times where I don't use Pomodoro and I will completely avoid it. And that is typically when I'm having absolutely no trouble focusing and I don't need to talk to anyone. I don't need to check my messages regularly and I'm just finding that I'm in flow state. I'm casually working on something. I'm just chilling and things are just flowing. I won't use Pomodoro. But I do find it such a great tool for all of the reasons that I outlined above. That has been my experience, and I'm pretty sure that's actually in order of like when I started using Pomodoro. First one was me being super unmotivated, distracted, needed something to just like propel me forward. Second one was me being a little too stoked about work and working too much. And then the last one was me being a little too locked in and needing to communicate with other human beings. So let me know if there's some other cases where you use Pomodoro and you find it very helpful. And that is all. I'll see you in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'll also see you in the next video. Bye.